go get the plane fixed, do some crop dusting. You could deliver cocaine for Boston George and them. You could join the CIA and help catch Bane.
It would be extremely painful.
Welcome back once again to Viridian County. I'm your host, Red Kool-Aid. On our last episode, we built a dope, pedestrian, multi-layered hive neighborhood with the built-in commercial and the fresh market and the metro station. It was crazy, man. Y'all saw it. It was the terminal neighborhood. That's what we built last time, and I really got into this build sort of in the middle of it. I sandboxed a little bit of it just to make sure the majority of it would work, but I really had fun kind of building that out, filling out that nice piece of right outside of downtown. Continuing in that same vein, I wanted to build a neighborhood with some high-rise projects in it, like some real high-rise projects like some Queensbridge, Mobb Deep. We don't have these in the South. We got like sprawling neighborhoods, two-story joints down here, but I wanted to build something like, you know, some Marcy, you know what I'm saying? We're going to clear out this little piece of land over here. This is right outside of our little tourism neighborhood, and the first thing I wanted to do was lay out our train line, our metro line. I didn't have to do the actual streets. We did that in the first episode of the downtown. I just put a bunch of trees around it and I never talked about it. So, you might have missed that. But we already had this road network laid out. We don't have to worry about me doing that. But I do need to set up an elevated metro line. I'm going to go ahead and drag this bridge out across the street so that line can continue into whatever we build on the other side of this. But I found some elevated metro tracks on the workshop that kind of look old and rusted. I couldn't really find a elevated station, a metro station that looked how I wanted to, so I'm gonna actually have to kind of make that. Right now I'm gonna use these little, I don't know what you call these things, man, these little support beam deals to kind of brace this, and I'm gonna copy them, and I'm gonna actually use the toggle snapping thing to make sure they're all kind of evenly spaced. I actually never used that before the last episode. I find that comes in handy sometimes. So we're gonna go ahead and put those all up and down the street. Not a lot of them, just a couple to support. And then I need to connect the metro line up to the main metro network that's already, connected to our little Union Square station that we built maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago. So I need to use Move It to kind of get this tunnel kind of position right. This pack of this network set comes with some cool little tunnel entrances, so I want to kind of leave that. I'm gonna use a little bit of retaining wall activity, kind of bend it to kind of fit this. That way it just seals up the track. There's nothing underneath it. I won't do too much detailing on this when we actually get to building it. But right now I need to lay out the elevated metro tracks, the station tracks. And the piece doesn't have to really be that long. I did have to really work with this to get it to stop the land in the right spot and get the people to use the station stairs, because you'll see me use a train station to make the metro station. I couldn't find any station that had the look, so I had to kind of use my thinking cap and make my own. So we're gonna stretch out these nodes and make sure that the main part of the station is right over this street. I think I took out the wrong. Okay, there we go. Stretch this out and make sure, like I said, when you see here's the station that I'm going to use. It's a train station. So I'm gonna unlock all the segments using our network multi-tool and delete all of the streets in the track. We don't really need any of that stuff anymore. And I'm gonna actually line this up with the station. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because I want them to use those stairs. I tried a lot of variations of this to make it work, but this was the only variation that worked. Next, I'm gonna lay out a couple of just random rail lines. They don't go anywhere or do anything. I just want to make one of the parts of this is gonna be a little bit more industrial and kind of rugged. It's not really like a rail yard, because again, everything is compact in our city. I didn't want to have things just sprawl on for forever, because I got to detail all that stuff, man. I got stuff to do. I got to go to work and sleep and stuff, man. So we're going to make a tiny rail yard. It's only going to have a couple of tracks. We're going to decorate it with a few of the assets from the workshop. And right now I'm just kind of working with the nodes to make that. Again, it's not like no trains are coming from back here, but I'm gonna switch up these tracks to something that's a little bit more rustic, that doesn't have the little support the little wire thingies. I don't like that. And I'm gonna lay one industrial asset down. I think this was like a coal resource or something, but right now it's just like a generic industrial building. It will produce a little bit of goods, and we'll detail it into something a little doper later on in the episode. Right now I want to jump back down to the little main street that's right by the station. I'm going to use this. This is actually a subway building, but I had to use PO because I don't want it to be a subway line, but I do like the shape of the building, and I like the cornerness of the building. So I'm going to replace that with probably a commercial block or an office block or something. But the rest of these buildings right here, the next two I laid down anyway, are going to be like some high density commercial assets. I really wanted this area up against the metro track to feel like its own little downtown. Like some of these, especially the older residents of these projects, they don't go downtown. They don't need to. They'll just go right here and do their shopping and get a pair of shoes from, I don't know, probably Payless. If you older, you're not really worried about going to Foot Locker or nothing, but you know, they just getting some little kicks, maybe some food for the dog. There's no reason for them to go all the way downtown for all that. So we wanna make this feel like the center of commerce in this little area. I'm gonna keep throwing down. I like this corner building, yo. This is dope. Glad I get to use some of these buildings, man. I haven't got to use some of these at all, period, in the city. I'm also gonna use this same little urban elementary school right here against the train line, just because it's actually like a big building. I can only have to fill in a small space next to it, and this little commercial block will kind of be done. There's like a flat, there we go. Yeah, look at this building. This is weird. I'm building uphill. It's hard to tell from the angle of the camera, but I am gonna have to do some stuff to kind of compensate for that height change right there. And I know these couple of buildings are like really bright, yo. Like I'm gonna have to figure out something. Maybe get on the workshop and find something that's a little darker. But I just don't. They feel like they screaming at me a little bit. I don't like that. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in this back block with some other stuff. Just some little. I really kind of built myself into a corner because I wanted the houses to be. I just didn't want the build to get out of control. I'm going to speed things up just a little bit as I continue to lay down some assets and some services. This is a police station. I actually think it's a high school that somebody just edited in the asset editor. I'm going to lay down a couple of high-density residential joints, again, just lining this metro line with some high residential housing. I really wanted the tracks to kind of cut through the town. I made a really dope, you'll see it in the detail and time lapse, a custom billboard for this area. I looked on the workshop trying to find something. There was a lot of new stuff, you know, like Nike and stuff like that, but I wanted something kind of old, represent some old school flavor. So I made a Kings of Comedy billboard. Some of y'all might be way too young for that, but you know, Kings of Comedy, man, that's real OG. Classic for the culture right there. We're going to see the Kings.
Not the Kings, the Kings.
I just laid down a Lori medical building and another kind of residential. Again, just finishing this off. I want to kind of take my time with what's up against the train line because I want the view to just be a certain way. I want that ride on the train to have a certain feel to it. Philly, you know, Newark, New Jersey, definitely New York, but that kind of, we don't have this sort of aesthetic down here. We don't even have metro trains in my city, yo. We got like a bus. That's it. It's a train in the next town. That's all.
98.5 City Sounds. I'm sending a special shout out to all my guys over there in the Parkview Projects. What up?
And that pretty much does it for like the building layout of the neighborhood. There's a couple of spots I need to fill in that I got ideas for. But mostly that's it. We need to start putting in our actual, like our high rises, our Queensbridge joints, man. I want them big tenements, man, like the New York joints. I want you to be able to see it from the other side of the city. I want, if you to live in these buildings, you can see the whole city. I want that vibe, yo. Like if you've ever seen Belly, go watch Belly. Just go watch some scenes from Belly when Nas goes to Queens, man. That's the vibe I wanted. Matter of fact, me and my boy was looking at footage from like 92, 93, and it was like Capone and Noriega and Mobb Deep, and I was looking at the streets of the city, and everything looked really stark. So I actually used a few different sets of bare trees, stuff I haven't used before, a lot of leaves on the ground. Right now I'm using one of the buildings. I'm just copying it and using it as PO, and I'm gonna kind of slide it down a little bit because I want to make little courtyard areas in these buildings that are right here against the train track. Again, just trying to make it look a little different, you know, than how the assets probably should be used. But I didn't want the buildings to all be the same height, so I had to go kind of PO with these little blocks right here. And I'm just going to slide it down a little bit. Also, on the back side of the neighborhood, I wanted to have like something a little bit more low rise. If you've ever seen The Wire, you know there's different sizes to these buildings. So these are like our low rises right here. You know what I'm saying? Not as many families in there. And it kind of, you know, it drops the height off right there by the edge of that avenue. I need to change this. I think I'm going to make these streets into parking lot roads, but I'm going to have to redraw this one on the edge because the roads are funny style. But it's okay. We're going to go ahead and push that up in height. There we go. And make sure these, we can drop those a little bit. And yeah, so once I kind of zoom down into it, I can kind of see, is it giving me the, I don't want them to be so tall that it's ridiculous, which is why I lined that area with those bigger buildings. But I definitely want them to have like, I want you to be able to see this from the other side of town. Like, oh, you going to visit a girl over there? Oh, nah, fam. I'll see you when you get back, bro. before I get to detailing my industrial my little place that I kind of sectioned off, I wanted to lay down this abandoned water treatment plant. I also got a couple of these little commercial warehousey kind of assets to lay up against that train line. This abandoned office block is fire, yo. All them broken windows, it's the vibe. That's the vibe I'm going for, yo. Like I said, Wu-Tang, man. Well, not just Wu-Tang. It's really Queensbridge, but it's like Wu-Tang music video vibes. I'm gonna use that Parkway grocery little food store asset. It's just so run down. I love it. And I'm gonna use some of these corrugated fences to kind of rope off our industrial asset. And I need to actually detail it. We're gonna make that into a thing. It's not gonna just be, like some dumpsters or something back there, or a parking lot. We're gonna make it into something. I'm gonna put this little building right here on the edge of our retaining wall. Oh yeah, the rail yard, man. We need to put some of these rail assets down. I actually downloaded some more in the middle of making this, so we're gonna swap some of them out when we really get to detailing. But I wanted that. You step out of your house on this street and you look over and you see the city, but this is kind of right in front of you. And that's kind of a theme when you think about projects. Like, they put certain stuff like barriers, what I'm saying? Like, where you feel like we're in here or we're over there. You don't kind of feel like you're apart like that. So you got to kind of rock with the people that's around you. And our last little bit of detailing is on this area. I've been waiting to build one of these in my city. I actually had one in my last city, but I wasn't recording anything. I didn't have a series. You've seen them before. It's nothing new. I just want to build like a micro scrap yard. But, this is a functional industrial asset. And it's it needs ore products. So you'll see the like dump trucks going in and out. And I thought that kind of added to the scrappiness of it all. So I went on the asset workshop. These are the easiest things to find. Just search scrapyard. There's like a whole set of little cars, crushers, and all kinds of things that you can use. So I just went and found the things that I wanted to use in my little micro scrap. And yeah, we're gonna change a couple of colors. Also, last week I kept saying terrain conforming network. That is not the name of the asset. It's a terraforming network, and I kept saying it wrong. It's probably smoking too much of that prescription cannabis.
Why don't you just give him a little bit for my cataract?
Biggie Smalls, Method Man, the what? 98.5 City Sound.
I used to get pills on the if now I throw shields on the dick to stop me from that HIV shit. And niggas know they soft like a Twinkie fillin', playing the villain, prepare for this rap killing. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Your style is played out like Arnold when that what you talking about, Willis? The thrill is gone, the black Frank White is here to excite. Throw dick to dice. Bitches are like I'm brainless, guns are like I'm stainless steel. I want the fucking fortune like the wheel. I squeeze gats till my clips is empty, don't tempt me. You don't want the fuck
here I am, I'll be damned if this ain't some shit. Time to spread the butter lyrics over harmony grit. It's the mood killer death trap. Yes, I'm a jet black ninja. Coming where you rest at, surrender. Step inside the ring, use the #1 contender. Looking cold booty like your pussy in December. Nigga, stop bitching, button up your lippin'. From method, all you gettin' is a can of ass whipping. Hey, I be kicking you, son. You doing all the yapping, acting as if it can't happen. Your frontin' got me mad enough to touch something. You want from Shallon, Allen, and ain't afraid to bust something. So what you want, nigga? You want, nigga? I got a 6-shooter and a horse named Trigger. It's real, 94, rugged raw, kicking on your goddamn doors.
Something like this.
The world won't ask me shit. Everything you get, you got to work hard for it.
Honey, shake your hips.
You don't stop.
The niggas pack the clip.
Keep on. The world won't ask me shit. Everything you get, you got to work hard for it.
Honey, shake your hips.
You don't stop.
The niggas pack the clip.
Keep on. Verse 2, coming with that OE brew. Medicare, putting niggas back in ICU. I'm lifted, true. You can bring your whack ass crew. I got connections. I get that ass stuck like glue. No question. I'll be coming down and shit. Yo, I get rugged as a motherfucking carpet get, and niggas love it. Not in the physical form, but in the mental. I spark and they cells get warm. I'm not a gentle man, I'm a method man. Baby, accept it, utmost respected.
Assume the position.
Stop, look, and listen. I spit on your grave, then I grab my Charles Dickens.
Welcome
Bitch.
to my center. Honey's feeling deep in their placenta. Cold as the pole in the winter. Far from the inventor, but I got this rap shit sold. And when my Mac unloads, I'm guaranteed another video. Ready to die while I act that way. Pop Duke left Mom Duke, the faggot took the back way. So instead of making hoes suck my dick up, I used to do stick up, cause hoes is irritating like the hiccups. Excuse me, flows just grow through me. Like trees to branches, cliffs to avalanches. It's the praying mantis, deep like the mind of Farrakhan. A motherfucking rap phenomenon. Plus,
I got more Glocks and text than you.
I make it hot.
Niggas won't even stand next to you.
Nigga touch me, you better bust me 3 times in the head, or motherfucker's dead. You thought so?
Fuck the world, don't ask me for shit. And everything you get, you got to work hard.
While I was looking up abandoned things, I saw this plane. It's really dope. I'm gonna put a couple of tires in front of it, make it kind of feel like it's been sitting there for a while. I don't know why anybody would leave a plane in the scrapyard, bro. If you could afford a plane, you could afford to get the plane fixed. Go get the plane fixed, do some crop dusting. You could deliver cocaine for Boston, George and them. You could join the CIA and help catch Bane.
It would be extremely painful.
I mean, something besides leaving your plane in the scrapyard, bro. You're not getting no money like that. I want to thank y'all for joining me for this week's episode. I know it was a little shorter, but it was actually, we got something completely done, and I like that. Just cinematics, please. I know this episode is a little behind, yo. I had a work thing that got out of hand. I'm not gonna hold you though. My job is super fun. It's super fun. But still, I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Your homie might think I'm dope, and you hiding. You hiding the good stuff. Shame on you. Ought to be shamed. I'm Red Kool-Aid, y'all. This is Viridian County. I'm gonna see y'all next time.